It's inevitable. We knew what was inevitable. We knew what it was a losing battle. The suffering was something that you really can't prepare for. But you know what? He never complained. Um, I don't know why. He, he never really complained. I would have. um, he had no voice really at the end. Had no ability to communicate. Um, he couldn't write because he had shattered his writing thumb on his left hand. Um, working a while back, a couple years ago, and so he couldn't even write down what he wanted to say. So it was tough towards the end, especially trying to understand him. And I know repeating things and saying, what'd you say? Um, I'm sure that didn't help. It was probably frustrating for him, especially it took a lot out of him just to, get the enough oxygen to say short phrases. Um, but he's not suffering anymore. So that's I guess that's one way to look at it. But anyway, this was just I meant it to be a quick update, but it looks like we're going on about 20 minutes. I will try to get another update out again. Maybe tell some more stories. We did have a celebration of life. Some funny stories came out of that. Um, and really just want to continue, um, just celebrating his life, not necessarily, being somber and kind of, wallowing in depression about it. I try to be a little bit more optimistic and try to celebrate, his life rather than the last couple of years that have been really tough on the family and especially him. Um, um, yeah. I mean, I could even get into some of the things that the week he passed and even the days after that were just honestly things that I don't think should ever be said, and I don't think anybody wants to go through it, family or the person who's struggling. And on that note, I'll end this video with this. So I had asked sorry, sometimes it's my office is in the middle of the living room, in the middle of the house, so getting privacy is can be difficult. But anyway, what I was going to say. Um, at one point before my father was in, well, at one point when my father was able to speak, I had asked him if he could start over with the decision to smoke cigarettes and was it worth it? And uh, and of course his answer was absolutely not. And that was really before even the suffering really began. Um, so I guess, a lifelong smoker of cigarettes, um, if you smoke, if you vape, you're thinking about doing either, trust me, um, you will regret it. And I can't express how much of a miserable, painful, suffering you'll likely go through if you continue. All I can say is, try to stop. I know it's difficult. I mean, I've never smoked, but I know it's difficult. Um, but if you've seen what I've seen and experienced, um, you might think twice. It might scare the crap out of you. And if there's any good thing that can come from this, it would be if people would decide to maybe give it up, or never start to begin with. And trust me, vaping is just as bad, if not worse, from what I've gathered from doctors and nurses at the hospitals. And trust me, I've been there quite a bit, talking, getting to know the staff, and the people who have taken care of my father. Um, just there's one takeaway. Even if you don't share, donate, comment, or anything, just take that in mind. Maybe it'll save a life, perhaps your own or one of your loved ones. Um, on that note, the toll it takes on your family, watching someone suffer, trying to care, bring you to appointments and talking to doctors and trying to organize your medications and trying to figure out how to give you a shower when you can't walk, trying to figure out how to communicate with you when you can't talk or write. Try to figure out how to manage your oxygen in such a way that maybe you can get out and back in time, before you run out of oxygen. Perhaps if there's a hurricane, what happens when the power goes out, like we did with Anne? I mean, if you depend on oxygen, can you imagine suffocating to death? Because that's basically what happened to my father. So it takes a toll all around on everybody. But anyway, not to dwell on the somber, as I said I wouldn't, but I hope that hope everybody had a good Father's Day. And hopefully Father's Day will get better for me and my family. These things take time. They say time heals all wounds, and there's some truth to it, but you know what? There's a giant hole that'll never go away. But we won't forget. We'll miss them, and life will continue. So I look forward to sending another update, something perhaps shorter than 28, 30 minutes or so. But I felt after all the donations, it was appropriate for me to get on video for one, which I never do, and talk about it. So thank you, and have a good night. Thanks.